The new lesson for 8-9A, finding the volume of spheres. So today's objective is you're going to learn to find how to find the volume of spheres. This is the last shape that we're going to be working on before we are wrapping this unit up. We're going to do a little bit more, but no more new shapes. So the definition of a sphere is the set of points in 3 dimensions that are a fixed distance from a given point, also known as the center. So that first vocab word that is not a new word, just a review word, is sphere. And probably most importantly, it's 3D, so it's 3 dimensions. We're just taking a radius and going 3 dimensions in every direction to make it a sphere. And then if you were to take a flat something, plane that intersects a sphere right through the center and divide it in half, we call those halves hemispheres, which again is not a brand new word, it's just a word I wanted to review with you guys. So when we're using, or when we're asked to find the volume of a sphere, we want to use this formula V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So r to the 3rd power is probably the biggest difference. I think a lot of you are going to find it easier if we use the formula this way. It means the same thing. It's just a different process for your brain. So they are the exact same formula, but just different ways of thinking of them. So we'll see how that works for you guys. Let's do an example. So we need to find the volume of a sphere with a radius of 12 centimeters. So my formula is 4 times pi radius to the 3rd power. So if we have a radius of 12, our radius cubed means to do 12 times 12 times 12. So 12 times 12 times 12 is going to give us a total of 1,728. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in for r cubed. And now we can start simplifying. So if we do 4 times 1728, we get 6,912. So we still have pi and we still have divide by 3. So now I'm going to divide by 3. So 6,912 divided by 3 gives me 2,304 pi. So if they're asking us to solve just in terms of pi, it would be 2,304 pi. But they also want us to find it to the nearest tenth. And the way that you do that, you've done before, you're just going to take 2,304 and put it in your calculator times your pi button, which is going to give us a grand total of 7,238.22947 keeps going. So we want to round this, and we're going to do that by looking at the second number. We don't need any of this over here. This is not larger than 5, so we're going to keep this 2 as a 0.2. And just to finish this problem off, you'll want to put your label, and that's centimeters, and because we're doing volume, this is going back a bit, but volume is always to the 3rd power. So our answer is 7,238.2 cubic centimeters. Okay, number 2 is actually a you do, more like a you try. So I want you to try this one on your own. I'll help you get it started though. The radius, it says, is a radius of 4 meters. So if radius is 4, you need to figure out what your radius cubed is by doing 4 times 4 times 4. And then you're going to use the formula volume equals 4 times pi times radius cubed divided by 3. So go ahead and pause this video, and I want you to try on your own and see if you can come up with the correct answer. I'll put it down in the corner, but I want you to pause it while you're working. Okay, number 3, we're going to go back to a we do, so we'll do these together. Find the volume of a sphere with a radius of 5. So our radius equals 5. So we need to find radius cubed. 5 times 5 times 5. And that is equal to 125. So now I need my formula, and I'm going to substitute 125 in for my r cubed. So now I'm going to start simplifying stuff down. So I do 125 times 4, which is going to give me a total of 500. But we can't forget our pi, because that got rid of 125 and 4. But before we multiply by pi, we want to do what's on bottom, and that's divide by 3. So dividing that by 3, we actually get a fraction of an answer, but 166, and you get a 0.66666 repeating forever. That's also known as 2/3, or you could just put, the 0.6 with the line on top of it. But in terms of pi, the answer is 166 and 2/3 pi. But they do want us to also go ahead and find it in terms of putting it to the nearest tenth. So we're going to do 166 and 2/3, or just take that decimal, don't even erase it, just times it by your pi button. And that gives us 523.59877. So now we have to round it and decide what our tenth is. So we've got all of this over here that we're not even going to use. And we need to look at this number, 9. Because 9 is bigger than 5, this one's going to go up by 1. So our answer is going to become 523.6. And we need to do our unit. So our unit was originally in feet, and because we're doing volume, volume is cubed. So that is the answer for both parts of that question. Okay, number 4 is a we do, and it's a little tougher because it's got such a big number. This is the actual measurement for the moon. It has a real actual measurement radius of 1,738 kilometers, and that's a really large number. So they want us to attempt to find the volume of the moon to the nearest tenth, and this is actually going to be a lot of numbers. So to cube r, I'm going to do 1,738 times 1738 times 1738, and I get this huge number of 5,249,879,272. So now I can do my formula with that humongous number for my r cubed. Okay, so now I'm going to take this large number, our r cubed, our 5 billion number, and we're going to multiply it times 4. And that's going to equal a 20 billion number, 20,999,517,088, and then that's still times pi and divided by 3. So now I have to still yet divide by 3 before I'm down to just a number times pi. So I'm going to do the 20 billion number divided by the 3 number, by the 3. So this one divided by this one, which gives me 6,999,839, oops, I said thousand, it should have been million, 839,029 and 1/3 pi. So there is my answer in terms of pi. And now I'm going to use that to go further and solve this to the nearest tenth. So putting this into the calculator, 6,999,839,029 and 1/3 pi. So times the pi button, 21,990,642,870 and 86 hundredths. So I want to get it to the nearest tenth. I could have taken my decimal out further, but I felt like I've already written enough. So I'm going to look at 6. 6 is bigger than 5, so I'm going to round my 8 up for a grand total of 21,990,642,870 and 9/10 kilometers volume is cubed. So that was a lot of work for that problem. But that's the actual answer. Number 5 is going to be the last one that we do together, completely together. So this one says that we have a diameter of 8 feet. So before we go any further, we can see we have a diameter, and we can't use diameter in our formula. So if our diameter is equal to 8 feet, we need to solve for radius by knowing that it's going to be half of 8. So half of 8 is 4. So our radius is actually equal to 4. So now we can do our problem from here. But that's one extra step you're going to have to add in if you're given diameter. So if my radius is 4, my radius cubed is going to be 4 times 4 times 4, which actually is equal to 64. Not too bad. So now we can bring up our formula, which is volume of a sphere is equal to 4 times pi times the radius cubed, in this case is 64, all divided by 3. 64 times 4 is 256. So that one and that one, but we still have pi up there, and we still have divided by 3 underneath. 256 divided by 3 doesn't come out perfectly even. It comes out as 85.33333333, repeating, which is 1/3. But then that is in terms of pi, so there's our one answer if you're solving in terms of pi. Now, to get it to the nearest tenth, we're going to take 85 and 1/3, and we're going to multiply times the pi button. And when we do that, we're going to get 268.08257, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm just going to stop there. So we want to take a look at our 8 to determine what to do here. 8 is bigger than 5. So we want to round 0 up to 1. So it's 268.1, and we are in feet, and they're cubic because we're still doing volume. So there's the answer for that one. The last two I will show you how to get started, and then I will also flash the answer for you to pause so that you can pause, try it out, and see if you got them correct. Good luck, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and be sure to show this to me so that you can get checked.